Ladies, gents, what a crazy game of football that was. Game 3 of Origin. The Maroons getting up. A great win for them. Incredible with, them being definitely the underdogs in betting as well. $1.35 to I think 3.10 there, and just showed their heart that they always do. They seem to win so many more of these games that they really shouldn't. I don't think New South Wales has won one of these types of games when they've been the underdog for a long time, and it just shows that they coach well. The spirit. I don't know if it's greater in Queensland than it is for New South Wales, or just the history of it. I don't know how it works out for them, but everyone they pick comes in and does such a great job. You look at the likes of Jeremiah Nanai. I spoke about, obviously love him as a player, but so young and in those first couple of games, looked okay. Obviously had a couple of errors, penalty in that first game, which almost cost them, and second game obviously played a bit of time off the bench as well. But to get 80 minutes in the back row here, and he looked electric. He made a break, had a couple of offloads there. He was really, really good. Helpful in the air. There's a couple there that if it didn't, I think he knocked. Yeah, he had the tap back and then ended up hitting his other arm and went forward. But if it went back, they'd probably score off it. That Josh Papali'i play at the start. There's a few things that could have gone his way even more. And you see just if we're looking at just the other back rower, for example, Kurt Capewell just always does his job. He moved to the centres pretty early in that game when they had the injury to Cobbo, which from all reports, all the guys that have got some type of concussion are doing well, which is great in Cobbo and Cam Murray and Lindsay Collins. So the three guys there that copped that. But that first 3.5 minutes was incredible. It was probably 10 to 15, and then obviously we had the biff between Burton and Gagai, and fair enough as to why that happened. And it's so funny trying to I was trying to talk to a few people Burton couldn't hit, and everyone's like, oh yeah, it's 5-on-1. I'm like, yeah, but the first 3 or 4 punches each was just the 1-on-1, and he did look like he'd never been in a fight before. But so just tension so high in this game. The biggest thing that I took out of it, especially, and it's always the case in every game, is just that Queensland having 4 and 5 blokes in a tackle at one time, and obviously that ended up in a couple of injuries there with that head knock to Cobbo. But to see him charging in off the wing to make that tackle when he didn't have to, just really shows that he's going to be a great player. For one, that he will go into bat for his teammates, which is awesome for someone so young and so talented. That doesn't always happen in this sport, in any sport. So really great to see that. Unfortunately, him that he only got the couple of minutes, and same with Lindsay Collins. But yeah, just really showed that spirit for the Queensland boys. And another game there where Kalyn Ponga was just incredible for the Queensland side, and definitely hasn't been playing as well for the Knights. But it does show that what happens when you're a great player and you get put around great teammates. He does have some, definitely some great teammates in Knights, but their spine just, I don't think, meshes well enough. You can see Kalyn gets a little bit of space, gets a little bit of roll on that the forwards have given him or something like that, and he's off and away. I think it was 17 tackle breaks, 3 line breaks, 4 offloads in this game and a try. And he was great in the first 2 as well. So helped them win that first one, set up a couple of tries, and even set up the couple that they did score in that second game. So Kalyn Ponga, very much deserving of that man of the match. And in terms of man of the series, I definitely think was between Ponga, DCE, and also Paddy Carrigan. And a massive congratulations to Paddy. He's coming off ACL surgery last year, missed the bulk of that, and then comes back this year, plays pretty well from a couple of games into the season, and has not missed a beat. And we knew that he was going to be super talented, but the go forward that he provides, the strength that he has in defense as well, he was spectacular. I'm also seeing some growth at centre for Val Holmes. I think that line that he ran, obviously, having Dearden on his inside, being able to pass that ball to him, and the synergy that they have from being the Cowboys together, I think was a great bring in. We'll speak about Dearden in a second, but to have those two as a combination on the left there, I think was probably why they stuck with Ben Hunt and 9, and obviously for how good Ben has played in that position. I just think that synergy was great. So we'll move to, I think Holmes just getting better and better each week at that centre position. I definitely think it's his position. He's smart enough to be able to run those great lines. Defensively is very solid as well, and I think he did a great job. We'll move to Dearden, and that was one of the great Origin debuts in a game that was so important, a game 3 in Suncorp. He would have dreamed of this all his life, to come out and obviously hit homes pretty early for that try and almost have another one set up. That offload that he had that obviously went forward there, but he is great in defence. There's a few times there was kind of one-on-one and stopped the New South Wales boys, and just a real out-and-out perfect debut with a great win for him. DCE, everyone talks about him and his position in the game and his position as a $1 million player, a superstar in our league, and he always continues to show why he is one of the best. If you look at the other side of the ball, we'll speak about New South Wales in a second, but Cleary's amazing, but he's not perfect every game, and that's the same thing that I think you got to think about with DCE, is that he's not going to have the perfect game every week, and sometimes he's not going to step up in these types of games. Sometimes he can't carry a Manly team to superstardom, and you've seen that with Ponga, and that's the same. And not everyone can do that. The likes of someone like Thurston can do it. They could carry the Cowboys team to the finals, to different places there. But the only time the Cowboys ever won is when the teammates around him were at a superstar level as well. You need at least 5 or 6 guys that played Origin, and it shows that for sure with DCE, and he'll probably get that. It'd be tough to take off the number 7 off his back in the Australian team as well, on the back of Origin. I think it wouldn't look out of place. It probably would be DCE and Munster, which I think would be pretty fair to play for Australia there. For them to win without Munster is incredible. Let's move to Ben Hunt, and we'll finish with him and Harry Grant there. And Benny, I'm actually really proud of him. To be fair, when he scored that try at the end, the game was pretty well over. The New South Wales boys didn't look like scoring any time in that last 10 to 15 minutes. So absolutely gassed. All the defensive work, all the pressure they put themselves under in that last the whole second half really. That game was kind of over, but it was a nice icing on the cake for Benny for what's been a fairly tough, apart from when he plays Origin, a pretty tough 7 years, to be honest with you. I'm very, very thankful for what happened in 2015, but obviously for him, the amount of hate, the amount of crap that he's received over those years, I don't think has been warranted. He's always been an incredible player. So much talent, so much work ethic. You see that every year he gets thrust into the 9 role for Queensland. He does love playing number 7. You can tell that. I personally think he's pretty close to a better 9 than he is a 7. Obviously, he has done it at both levels, and he does have better players around him in Origin, but he can just do everything. He can kick out a dummy half. He saw his 40-20, obviously changed the momentum in that game in the second half, and then that play at the end. He's just such a smart guy, super talented, and deserves this. And as people were saying last night, it's going to go down in Origin folklore, that play. Especially when Cleary's kicking it, it's Cleary's going to go down as one of the greatest 7s if he continues what he's doing, and that's going to go down in a great spot for Benny Hunt. So well done to him. And lastly, on the Queensland side, it was Harry Grant, and 51 minutes for him, and I think they did this really well, which I don't think New South Wales did as great. And I think the benefit is with Hunt that he can move through into the middle a little bit, and they can interchange at that dummy half role, where I think with Appy and Cook, I think it's harder for them to play that role, where they can play that 50 to 60, 74 minutes here with Ben Hunt that they did in this one. So Harry just, again, that play where he kicked in through to who scored? Centre. Gagai? Yeah, whoever it was. Who scored that try there was just a great play. It shows of his smarts. He always gets out of dummy half at the right time. He always gets out when there's a marker offside and gets that 6 again. He's just always on the ball and shows why he's so important to this team and also to the Storm when they can get him for the 80 minutes. So very, very impressed with Harry and how he played. And then just a little shout out to Tommy Gilbert, who did come on in the second minute and played the rest of the game, where he probably thought he was going to play 15 to 20 minutes. So well done to Tommy, another Cowboy, and I'm super excited for how the Cowboys are going to play from here on in. I actually do think they're a premiership chance now. I did say they were probably none, but they're actually improved each and every week. And Storm don't look great, and we'll see how the Panthers guys' thoughts and feelings around this game. Their confidence is dented from this one. If you're looking at the New South Wales side, Tedesco was great as always. He continues to play that amazing captaincy role. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the boys over the line, and to no fault of his in this one. The Stephen Crichton one's interesting. I do love him as a player, but when you had Jack Whiten available and back, I think that he had to play. Stephen didn't play great in the first 2 games, and I think that in such a big, important game, Jack had to play. I feel like that was the way to go. The other option was having Jack play on the bench over Talakai. The main issue for me there was the fact that he got just less minutes than what Damien Cook did. With Cook being one of our best for the last sort of 7, 8, 9 years, however long he's been in there, I think that he needed to play more minutes. People are like, oh, he had no impact when he came on. Well, of course he didn't have any impact. We dropped the ball. We're always coming out of our end. And if you've kicked, how well Queensland did it, they kicked to the corners and then defended hard. When the defense is on, there's no breakdowns. How is he going to get out of dummy half and do anything when you're on the back foot? You're stuck in a corner. I don't see the theory in that. He needed. There was going to be more time if he came on in the 30th minute, play that last 10, and even if he came off with 10 or 15 to go, I think that would have been a better play. But again, Freddie can make that decision. I just feel like it was unfair criticism on Cook for the 28 minutes he was on the park. The last 28, they did not have the ball in great position and didn't have many chances to do anything. So that was that. Talakai, obviously just a bit of a loose carry, kind of killed them at one point there. Losing Cam Murray is obviously the glue to a lot of this side. Was unfortunate, but we can't complain because Maroons lost 2 of their players and had to move, had to change a lot positionally. Where Angus Crichton came in, I think he was actually one of New South Wales' best, to be honest with you. Ran with a lot of vigour, broke a few tackles, and did great. So it's pretty much between Tedesco, Appy Coruscant, I actually think was great. As much as I want Cook to play more, I think Appy was awesome. Had that nice try assist to Jacob Saifiti, who pretty well had close to the perfect game on debut for Jacob with a try. Ran the ball really, really hard. Just had that one error near the end, which cost him a little bit of love as well. But generally, when you only have sort of 3 to 4 players that had a great game, Tupou didn't play great, improved right at the end, but wasn't his best one. Matty Burton, that kick was wow. But he didn't have the same impact that he did last game. So Luai was okay. Just getting in too much of that niggle, and I don't feel like he focused as much on his actual gameplay. Had 1 or 2 good runs, but just overall, the Queensland were a better team. Won the battles when they needed to, and just I think had a little bit more energy again. Same as that game 1. And if you really look at game 2 as well, it all changed when that sin bin happened, and New South Wales scored that try at the end of the half to go ahead, and then they were just too gassed for the rest of the game, which it shows that the Maroons here, and when a lot of people were thinking New South Wales had the better team, they almost could have probably won all 3. So my hat goes off to all of the Queensland guys. Billy Slater, his coaching, his adjustments. I think game plan in game 1 was incredible. The way they took time away from Cleary, I think, was great when they didn't have Burton as a second kicking option. Luai, I think that was a terrific plan. In game 2, they just came out with great energy, and I think that New South Wales made a few changes there in the way they were going to get more ball to someone like Burton to kick, to use Luai a little bit, just spread the ball out, I think, a little bit better, which was great. And it kind of got unlucky. Like it is what it is. They had 3 or 4 penalties, so they deserve to have someone in the bin. But unlucky with that, obviously the sin bin. But then the third one there, just making some adjustments again and looking to kick to corners. They kicked early in the second half, second and third tackle, and turned New South Wales around, defended hard, and made them make mistakes. And obviously that's on New South Wales side of the ball, but it's great tactically as well. And I just think they did an awesome job with that. Obviously kicking early, we've got the 40-20 for Ben Hunt as well. And just overall a better game plan, I think, than New South Wales did. So I think they're going to go back to the drawing board and think a little bit more around strategy and what they can do to nullify some of the kicking from DC. I don't remember DC in any of the 3 games having a lot of kick pressure on him, whereas, and similar with Munster, they kind of let him run a little bit, and obviously that's what's happened with guys like Wally Lewis and stuff in the past. But generally, I just feel like they're 6 and 7. Ponga even had a lot more time than what the New South Wales guys did. I don't remember many kicks where Cleary had a lot of time to actually think about where he wants to put it, pinpoint accuracy, and even just to belt it. Like a lot of times he's like, "Oh, quick, get it off, kick," and go. Yeah, so a lot to be done tactically heading into next year. And let me know if you enjoyed that bit of analysis, guys. I thought it was a very interesting game. Overall, really happy with some of the guys that came out and played super well. Like, I think definitely we go footy is the winner. Blues losing is not ideal for me being a Blues fan, but I'm a fan of footy, so it was great to see a couple of those guys do well. As I said, I'm still very happy that Ben Hunt dropped that ball in 2015. It helped my squad. So yeah, I think he deserves his spoils here. But subscribe, like this video, guys. I would really appreciate that. Send it to your friends that are interested in just general footy chat and Origin chat. If you're having a bit of a debate or a bit of a conversation with a few of your mates, and they might want a little bit more perspective from someone like myself, that'd be cool as well. As I said, I like to branch out a little bit with my content, not just being the fantasy stuff, which is amazing, but some of this chat as well I think is pretty cool. So hope you enjoyed that, guys. We'll catch you in the next video.